dear students. It's a great pleasure to welcome such a receptive audience to the part of our lecture series on environmental science. Today we will discuss a very important topic, acid rain. In this lecture, we shall be discussing about acid rain, its formation and deposition, effects of acid rain on different ecosystems, its effects on human health and man-made materials, and finally we shall be discussing on different ways of reducing the harmful effects of acid deposition. Before we discuss about acid rain, I would like to give a little account on acidity and pH. Acidic and basic are two extremes that describe chemicals, just as hot and cold are two extremes that describe temperature. And pH describes how acidic or basic a solution is. H in the pH refers to the hydrogen ion concentration. The pH scale measures the acidic or basic level of a substance. It's a logarithmic scale. The pH scale ranges from 0 to 14 and a pH of 7 is neutral, meaning that the substance is neither acidic nor basic, while a pH less than 7 is acidic and a pH greater than 7 is basic. Even natural rainfall is slightly acidic with a pH of about 5.6. The acidity of natural rain is due to the formation of mild carbonic acid because carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere dissolves in rainwater. Acid precipitation is not a new problem, it has simply become a bigger problem. Acid precipitation has been occurring in relatively small amounts for billions of years. However, as a result of the Industrial Revolution in the last 200 years, resulting in the burning of coal and other fossil fuels and the increase in motor car emissions, acid precipitation has become a problem. Now let's see how acid rain is formed and deposited. For one thing, tailpipes and smokestacks do not emit acids. The acid rain forms from a combination of pollutants and water vapor in the atmosphere, and by definition it has a pH less than 5. During the combustion of coal and petroleum or from refining of metal ores, sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides are released that react with water vapor in the air to produce sulfuric acid and nitric acid. These acids dissolve in water droplets which fall as rain, and in this case it is called as acid rain. It's not the only form of precipitation that has a lower pH. Any type of precipitation can be acidic and is called acid precipitation. Acid depositions can also be dry, and in dry deposition, acid gases and particles simply settle to the ground or blow into buildings, cars, homes and trees. Now let's see the effects of acid rain. Acid rain has little effect on some regions, yet is very harmful in others. This is because some materials, including some rocks and soil, can neutralize an acidic or an alkaline solution, a quality called buffering capacity. The pH of ecosystems situated in those rock types will be nearly normal. But most rocks and soils have little buffering capacity, so acidic waters can cause a great deal of damage there. Acidification is classified in two forms: episodic acidification and chronic acidification. Episodic acidification is characterized by short, intense acidic events that can result in the loss of biodiversity and change in community structure. For example, winter snowmelt and heavy rains can deliver large loads of acid to ecosystem in a very short period of time. Chronic acidification generally refers to ecosystems that have lost their ability to neutralize acidifying events due to depletion of acid neutralizing chemicals that buffer changes in ecosystem acidity when ecosystems are exposed to excessive long-term acid deposition. Let's now see how acid rain affects different ecosystems. First, acid rain impact on freshwater ecosystems. Acid rain falls either directly on aquatic habitats or in form of runoff after falling on forests, fields, buildings and roads. Lakes and streams become acidic when the water itself and the surrounding soil have lower buffering capacity, and the acidification problem grows in magnitude if episodic acidification is taken into account. Water with low pH diminishes the quantity and variety of life in lakes and streams. As pH decreases, population of submerged aquatic plants decline, reducing food for some water birds. Even the number of freshwater shrimps, crayfish, clams, and some other fish start to dwindle. At pH 5.5, the bacteria that decompose leaf litter and other debris begin to die, cutting off the supply of organic material for plankton. Some organisms tolerate or even thrive in acidic environment. For example, frogs have a high tolerance for acidity, but despite of relatively greater tolerance than fish, they cannot live in a lake without food. The effects of acid rain on forests. It directly affects trees and other plants which are important to the ecosystem as a whole because they feed everything else and provide habitat for other animals. Even if the soil is well buffered, forests can be damaged by acid fog. Acid deposition ruins the waxy coatings of leaves, harming the tree's ability to exchange water, gases with the atmosphere. The leaves are then unable to use photosynthesis to turn the energy in sunlight into food for growth. Trees weakened by acid experience slower growth or injury and are more vulnerable to stresses such as pests or drought. Acid rain also leaches soil nutrients, causing nutrient deficiency which stunts tree growth, making vulnerable to stresses such as pests or drought. For example, acid rain damages trees by dissolving calcium in the soil and in the leaves of trees. Once the calcium is dissolved, the rain washes it away, so the trees and plants cannot use it to grow. Acid leaching also deposits metals in the topsoil. These metals such as aluminum, lead, zinc, copper and chromium are toxic for trees, algae, some bacteria and fungi. Effects on agriculture. Acid precipitation may also damage crops since the acid damages leaves and the soil. Compared to developed nations, countries where farmers cannot afford remedies like the use of fertilizers that replace leached nutrients and lime that neutralizes the acid, increased soil acidity and acid precipitation have an amplified effect. Effects of acid rain on human health. Acid rain looks, feels, tastes just like clean rain. So walking in acid rain is no more dangerous than walking in normal rain. However, the pollutants that cause acid rain do damage human health. These gases interact in the atmosphere to form particles that can be transported long distances by winds and inhaled deep into people's lungs, causing asthma and bronchitis. Also, there may be a health hazard in eating fish that often have high levels of aluminum, copper, lead, mercury, zinc taken from streams and lakes with acidity. Effects of acid rain on man-made materials. Human-made materials gradually deteriorate even when exposed to unpolluted rain, but acid rain speeds up the process. Acid rain takes a toll on stone buildings and other structures, including those that are culturally significant, for example the Taj Mahal. This happens because marble is made up of a compound called calcium carbonate which can be dissolved by acids. Now, ways of reducing the harmful effects of acid deposition. Awareness needs to be generated among the masses worldwide about the acid rain and its harmful effects that in turn would pressurize us to take effective steps to control acid rain. These steps should be taken in this regard. Lessen the emissions of sulfur and nitrogen oxides in the atmosphere. We can help reduce acid rain by cutting back on the pollution that comes from power plants by using coal containing less sulfur, using devices called scrubbers to chemically remove the sulfur oxides from the gases leaving the smokestack. Similar to scrubbers on power plants are catalytic converters that can reduce nitrogen oxide emission from the cars. We can also switch fuels. For example, burning natural gas creates much less sulfur dioxide than burning coal. And by using renewable energy resources such as solar and wind power, which do not release any pollutants that cause acid rain. Second thing is to restore a damaged environment. The alternative and a far less effective approach is to mitigate the damage from acid precipitation. Just as rocks containing calcium carbonate buffer acidic water in nature, lime can be added to acidic lakes or ponds. This process is called liming. The downside to this is that lime only neutralizes the water and does nothing to change soil chemistry or improve forest health, and is considered a short-term remedy in only specific areas rather than an effort to reduce or prevent pollution. However, liming does often permit fish to remain in a lake, so it allows the native population to survive in place until emission reduction minimizes the amount of acid deposition in the area. We can also help to make a difference by practicing energy conservation at home, schools, and other institutions. We can decrease the amount of electricity that needs to be generated so fewer fossil fuels are burned and there is less pollution that causes acid rain. Considering every aspect, we may conclude that Earth's atmosphere is no longer a natural one. It's now greatly altered by human activity. In fact, acid rain is just one more sign of the increasing environmental degradation that is going on around the world. There are no simple solutions to the problem of acid rain, since the main sources of sulfur dioxide are coal-fired power stations, and the main sources of oxides of nitrogen are vehicle emissions and the burning of fuel. So more research must be done into alternative energy sources which do not produce the same harmful acidic emissions. Also, different programs need to be designed to reduce emissions, but small efforts from our side can go a long way to reduce emissions further. As rightly said by Albert Einstein, that you cannot solve the problem with the same kind of thinking that created the problem. With this, we come to end of today's lecture. Hope you have understood it well. Thank you very much.